my name is Zella and welcome to my channel. If you guys are curious about what this video is about, I'm going to recommend you go watch part 1. This is part 2. I realized as I was recording the video and I needed a break to charge my phone that the previous video that I recorded was like 30 minutes long, and I don't want to like come back and just add on to it, so I'm just going to split this into 2 parts. So this is the second part because the first one to get context. Alright, so the last point that I was at was talking about how people would hire me an alternative model and then get mad at me for being alternative, which was odd and happened often and would get on my fucking nerves. Alright, so we're gonna move on to the next thing. Scammers. There are fake agents, fake agencies, fake magazines, and fake photographers. Let's break it all down, okay? So the fake agencies, they would like set up a website to make it look like that of a reputable agency, but they would change like a letter, a digit, add a little slash or a dash or whatever to it, and you know, like it'll mimic the official websites of reputable agencies, but they would change something here or there to where if you're not looking at the URL closely and you don't Google the name of that agency to go find the real page, it's kind of easy to like get caught up in the mess of that. The other fake agencies would be like agencies that would charge you money for everything right up front. So how an agency is supposed to work is they're supposed to bring you in if, you know, they have like a competition, a casting call, or allow you to like submit your Polaroids or whatever to them and then contact you if they think that you would be a good investment to work with. And then they're supposed to take your measurements and set you up with your first photo shoot and help build up your portfolio. And then once you start booking clients, they're supposed to take a percentage out of that. But there are these agencies that would tell people like, you have to pay us $2,000 for this, and the third. And even if you were like already a model and you're like, I already have a portfolio. I already, have experience doing print. I already have experience working with makeup artists. I already have experience working as a hair model. I already have runway experience. I already know how to do all the things. But they would tell you that you have to specifically work with them and their photographers and their makeup artists and their hairstylists and their designers. And you have to pay each of those people individually, as well as pay them to pay those people. And getting work isn't guaranteed. Literally a fucking scam, because you can do all that yourself and you don't actually need the agency. So scam. Agents, fake agents. Let's get into these fake agents. So you remember how in the early 2000s there would be these TV shows where people would go to malls or they would go downtown, they go to shopping centers, and they like scout for models for like a TV show or a project or whatever. And people will get discovered while they were like working in the mall or whatever, and now they're on like a runway show for New York Fashion Week and something like that. Scammers would see that, take note, and then pretend to be those people. So they would like, you would be walking down the street and someone would come up to you and they start a conversation, and then they say, hey, I'm a model scout, I work with an agency, blah blah blah, here's our website. And for all intents and purposes, the website could look very legit. Sometimes the websites will look very janky. But like the good scammers had good websites and would look legit and everything. And they will tell you things that sound legit. Like, okay, like we're going to book a shoot. We're going to do a few shots to build your portfolio. We're going to have you come to a casting call and blah, 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 whatever. The whole time they were human traffickers and they were trying to lure women into these very dingy locations to do who knows what to them. But the spidey senses were spidey sensing, and luckily I never got caught in Look, I never got caught up in any mess like that, but I have the warning for you guys that those people do exist and you need to watch out. People don't respect models on a good day, but they especially don't respect you if you're black, a person of color, and alternative, like I was, like I am, and like they don't care about anything that you have going on. Like in no other job, in no other field, is it okay for your boss to tell you that you need to go snort a line of coke like the other girls so that you can be skinny and make me more money? Some of you guys would be ready to fight if somebody told you some bullshit like that. But when it happens to models, when it happens to children, it's okay. It's a part of the industry. That's just what you have to deal with. So there's a lot of respect. There's a lot of disrespect for models, especially within the industry that models work in the first place. The fashion industry would not exist as a whole in the same aspect as it does today without models. And yet, models are the most disrespected in the field. And it doesn't matter if you're freelance or you work with an agency or multiple agencies or what's going on. Like, the disrespect is so real. I've had career changes. I worked different jobs over the years where I've had to put modeling on the back burner because I was more focused on my job. And a lot of photo shoots are during the weekdays. So they are specifically relying on the fact that a lot of models don't have regular jobs and they're more reliant on these photo shoots. And that's why they have them throughout the week because you know the only people that are going to show up are the ones that either don't have jobs or they have the type of job that allows them to be off on a random weekday. When I was in school to be a dental assistant, I was warned by one of my teachers that some offices are going to make you sign morality clauses and they're not going to want to hire somebody who has a sketchy past. Not necessarily criminal, because you know that's an obvious thing, but they were telling us like, oh, like if you have Instagram, don't have pictures of your butt on Instagram, don't have bikini pictures on Instagram, you know, because people aren't going to want to hire you. And if they do, and you sign this morality clause, that can go against your contract and blah, blah, blah. And literally nobody cares. Like most people, they don't ask for your social media. And if they already have your social media somehow, some way, they don't mention it. Nobody's ever like approached me about anything I post on social media. So I don't know. Maybe it's different in other places, but I did get a little bit paranoid about some of my images that I've had online from being a nude model, and I felt like that was just going to be another barrier to entry to help get me in the field. So I started to slow down on it to focus more on my career as a dental assistant because I thought that that was going to allow me to have the type of lifestyle that I wanted. And it did help me achieve certain financial goals, but lifestyle wise, absolutely not. I was sold a lie. The pandemic, burnout, not wanting to be bothered, flakes, ruining photo shoots, makeup artists, and hairstylists. I don't know what it is about people in those industries, particular, especially in the fashion industry, where people feel like they can literally just play in your face and do whatever the hell they want to your hair. And when you confront them about it looking bad or saying, hey, I don't like this, can we change this, that, and the third, they get an attitude, they get entitled, they want to, well, I'm the professional and I know best, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you're not about to literally pay in my face. So I got to the point where I was like, if somebody hires me for a photo shoot, but they don't want to let me do my own makeup, then I just won't do the photo shoot because I'm done letting makeup artists and hairstylists play in my fucking face and have me looking crazy, have me looking stupid. I have so many photo shoots in the past where I was just looking crazy, literally insane, because the makeup artist insisted on putting ashy ass fucking concealer on my lips. Literally this fucking pale on my lips. Talking about, oh, nude lipstick is in, it's a vogue, it's in fashion. That shit was never nude on me. I was looking like Tyrone the crackhead. Go play with somebody else, because you're not about to play with me. Thanks, I hate it. That nude lipstick trim was getting on my fucking nerves because it was not nude on my black ass. This is not nude to me. There's literally no spot on my body that is this light. Not in the winter, not in the summer, the spring, any time of the year. There's nothing on my body that is this fucking light. Fat shaming, on professionalism. I'm 5'9". I'm currently 180 pounds, but back then I was like 110, 115, 120 on a good day. I was severely underweight. And it didn't matter how much food I ate, I had really fast metabolism that didn't start to slow down until I was about 25. But that's beside the point. But I was super duper skinny to the point where my collarbones were showing, this bone was showing more, the bones on my neck were showing more. Like I would turn around, like you could see my spine, you could see my rib cage, you could see like the bone in my hips. Like I was bony with the exception of my hips. Like I was literally a beanpole, but like with a little bit of a bump around the butt. Like that's the only place where I had fat and people would shame me for it. And it's like, bro, I literally could not get any skinnier than I am now without literally dying. I don't know what you want me to do. Okay, so a few years ago I worked as a photography assistant and I joined groups for like photographers and stuff because I was thinking, you know, I work as a photography assistant, a job that I got from modeling. Let me join like some photography groups and see if I can get, you know, another job as a photography assistant, and I can just be a photographer's assistant for like different type of photographers, and I can learn more about being a photography assistant specifically for the fashion industry and learn more about cameras and stuff. So I thought that by joining these Facebook groups that it would be like encouraging, uplifting, supporting, and like people sharing information and resources, and then I can be like, hey, you guys need an assistant, here's my experience, if you guys want to work with me, you know, blah blah blah. What actually ended up being is like these groups where photographers would just be hateful to models, and it was just a safe space to be a hater.
Just always been about love and hate. Now let me say I'm the biggest hater.
I'm not even kidding. Whatever fill in the blank thing you have going on, there's a photographer that has admitted to intentionally making that fill in the blank look bad because they do not like them. And then when they get confronted about these bad pictures and people ask them about it, the photographers would literally admit to gaslighting people and be like, I don't know. Well, that's what you get for being this. Well, that's what you get for doing that. Well, that's what happens when you're this. Well, that's what happens when you're that. And it'll be literally like makeup. Like there will be a photographer that'll be like, oh my gosh, I hate when girls wear eyeliner. It's so ugly. It's so annoying. Oh my gosh, I hate it so much. Every time I have to shoot a model and she's wearing eyeliner, I would take pictures of her looking down or looking off to the side, or pictures when she's blinking to make her intentionally look bad. And I will post it all over my social media. And when they confront me about it, I'll just be like, I don't know. That's what you get for wearing eyeliner. This is why I tell models not to wear eyeliner, because this is what happens in your shoots when you wear eyeliner. Literally. Whole time, the photographer is intentionally taking bad pictures of you, and they're plastering it all over social media in an attempt to try and shame you out of doing the thing that they don't like. And it'll be things that people can't change, or at least things that they can't change overnight. They would admit to purposely taking bad pictures of plus size models and like zooming in on their double chin and zooming in on their rolls and like have them do these unflattering poses. They'd be like, yeah, move your chin back and shoulders forward. And they'd be like, and they zoom in on their double chins, and they would tell them to like slouch, and then they zoom in on like the rolls on the side, the back, and the stomach. And then when the models are like, all these pictures are bad, is there like any other flattering angles? Is there any other pictures? The photographers would just be like,
girl, you're fat. What do you want me to do? Like, I'm a photographer, not a musician. My camera isn't a plastic surgeon, you know, it's not gonna make you skinny.
To try and like make them feel bad for existing in a larger body. Like literally any fill in the blank. That's all the group was. And if you think that the photographers who fit into certain groups would be checking them left and right, you are wrong. None of the black photographers would check the anti-black photographers for complaining about having to shoot black models. and how hard it is to light us, and how they intentionally take bad pictures of dark-skinned models because they hate us so much. None of the gay photographers would say anything to any of the homophobic people that would make derogatory remarks about the community. None of the alternative photographers who had tattoos, who had piercings, who had dyed hair will say anything to the other photographers about how they would intentionally make those pictures look bad and then gaslight people when they're confronted. Like, you would think that because the group is more diverse that it would be more tolerant and there would be a system of checks and balances. No. And it wasn't just one group. This was like 3 groups. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I don't feel like being bothered. If that's how you guys genuinely feel about people, you don't need to be in this space. And I don't want to be bothered. And you may say, oh, that's just the GWCs. That's just the guys with cameras. No, a lot of these were like professional photographers who had contracts with like big companies. I'm not going to name them, but like they had contracts with corporations that you would recognize the names of. They work with agencies. They were professionals, okay? This wasn't no people from Craigslist gathering. This wasn't a high school meetup group. These were people who were professional photographers as their full-time job and had a whole entities surrounding it. Some of them had full-blown teams. Like, they had personal assistants and managers, photography assistants, different days of the week, and all types of things. Like, these were professionals and they had these opinions, and I was just like, yeah, no, thanks. I don't want it. So here's how I'm using those experiences to help push me forward in my other creative endeavors. I have been able to use my experience as a model to get a job as a photography assistant, and I did that job for a couple of years. And I've been able to use my experience as a model to model for my own brand when I was making clothing and stuff. And I've been able to use my experience as a model to help me when I was designing clothes for other people and having a better understanding of like how fabric moves and how it will realistically look on a person instead of just using my mannequin and like being able to take pictures and stuff. Like, those are like actual useful skills that I actually needed. What circumstances would make me return? Money.
Sexy love money. Sexy.
Like, if somebody offered to pay me like $1,000 for a photo shoot and it was a good fit for me, like they were like people that I have a creative relationship with that I trust to work with, and I got paid decently, then yes. And obviously, you know, me wanting to do my own fashion brand in the future, I'll be using those skills for that. And what I'm using my modeling experience for now is UGC/content creation. So if there's like a leggings company or like a workout brand that reaches out to me and they're like, hey, we want to send you some leggings, could you make a video on TikTok? Can you like take some pictures for Instagram and like post it and tag us? Then I'd be like, yeah, sure. But this whole, I'm gonna run around the city and go to this photo shoot and that photo shoot, and I'm gonna go to this casting call here and that casting call there, and I'm gonna be on Model Mayhem, and I'm gonna be on Facebook, and I'm gonna go work with this person because that person told me that that person wanted me, and this whole thing that I was doing in the past, absolutely not. I'm too old for that shit, and it's time for me to move on with my life. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Bonus points if you watched the video before this. And I'll see you guys next time in some of my other videos.